Hello all, hope you are having a fantastic weekend. Yesterday I was able to do a couple of unlocks. The first one was artillery and maxing it out to help speed up my hits. And the second and the most important one was heavy choppers and maxing them because the bases are starting to get really busy with defenses now, so you do need that extra health to make your troops last. In terms of log, this is what it looks like. I was able to push and get back to legendary rank. I did fall out of it all the way down to 24, but by focusing my hits again, I was able to get back up after a long time because the queues were really slow. So let's go through the hits, what I'm doing now. This base, I'm using 2 boats of heavy choppers, 2 boats of bombers, and the remaining laser rangers. This base is essentially set up to just let the troops move forward, so you don't really need to do any reflaring or anything like that. Just need to manage the hit to get a decent time. I'm distracting the boom cannon with a boat of critters to help out my bombers so that I don't need to use a shock, and those critters can distract and clear other mines also if needed. And then all the troops just converge into the funnel, clearing some more mines, shocking the microwaver, and then finishing off the This is also quite a popular 6-year layout. In this one, what I'm doing is I'm going to BART out 1 ER so that my troops don't need to go and kill that off, while my other troops are focusing on clearing the front of the base, and then they start to converge upwards. And it's just a case of managing the hit again, using the shocks, using the critters, based upon what the troops are facing. Did do a bit of a reflare to position my troops better, so that they could focus on the funnel and then start killing the defenses over there, rather than killing all the defenses. Finishing off with a couple of artilleries as well. .235, this was a fast time. This is when I started experimenting with split seeker hits. Essentially, I'm using 6 boats of troops, 2 heavy choppers, 1 bomber, 3 laser rangers. They're going to kill off a couple of ERs for me, and then I'll flare them up top so that they can focus on the top bit. And then I'm going to use 2 boats of seekers to kill the remaining 2 rightmost ERs. This has also become quite a standard way of doing this particular layout. So if you're having trouble with this layout, you can maybe try the set and see if it works out for you or not. I fizzled on this base, but that was my fault. I did not clear the mines and my laser rangers died. So I had very little troops to finish the base off with. I did manage to finish it, but not a great time. Then these are the sort of typical layouts you'll start to see more and more. This one has max rocket launchers, but it did not have a shock launcher. So I could have tried a seeker hit, but I felt that it would probably be close to similar time with the additional rocket launchers and so on, eating away at my seeker's health. So I decided to do my regular hit on this layout, moving the troops up and then deploying the 2 boats of seekers so that they can start to get the right ERs. The layout of the shock blaster and rocket launchers wasn't very great because I could shock all 3 of them in one shock. So if you guys planning to use that, just be mindful that don't keep your defenses in a shockable position. This is another similar layout, but in addition to the max rocket launchers, this one also had the shock launchers and a microwaver. So trying to use Seekers would have been quite tough. So I'm going to do my standard hit on this layout, and a lot of people are running this layout. And I think they're getting slow times from their opponents on this one, but they probably do not have similar sort of offensive tick like I do. So probably that's why it's working out well for them and against their opponents at least. And then I can release a 2 boot of Seekers, using a bit of shocks and critters to distract the defenses, and then just focus on the top bit to get the base down. Use any sort of artillery barrage as needed to kill off the ERs as quickly as possible. And this opponent fizzled on my base, but I tried to go with the heavy choppers and seekers on this one. And the way I'm doing that is kind of similar to my regular hit. I'm going to BART out the CR so that my seekers don't need to travel there. And once that is done, then I can drop off the seekers. I could have dropped them earlier too, but I was just farming for GBE because there isn't too much GBE left after BARTing out an ER. Then I'm moving the heavy choppers in place so that they can help clear some mines. Using the shocks on the shock launchers, and then using bullets taunt to distract all the other defenses and taking down the final ER. There's also a similar max RLs, shock launchers, microwaver. People really don't want you to seek at their base, which is why they have all the good stuff up top. But yes, you can try to do this base in many ways. This is just one of the ways. You can even use rocket choppers. They are quite successful against this particular layout. So if you have unlocked rocket choppers, you can try using that. I had to use one artillery to finish off that ER because I flared just slightly ahead of time. But it wasn't a problem since I do have max artillery. And then the final ER was also away from the sky shield, so I was able to flare that and take the base down quickly. Mandy was able to beat him by a couple of seconds. Going to use my same tactic of using its seekers and BARTing out one ER so that my seekers don't have to travel all the way to their right. Then once I have enough GB, I'm going to start flaring so that my heavies and bullets can get into position, clear some mines, do some damage to the ER, but mainly for mine clearing rather than anything else, apart from bullets taunt ability, of course, which is very, very powerful to use for Seeker gameplay. This was kind of a nice kill spot for the Seekers because I ran out of... I was able to shock the shock launcher, but I did that just slightly late, so it was able to fire one off. And the other shock launcher was also keeping my Seekers pinned down. But just about got the win. And the final hit. So another similar layout, but this opponent did not have max RLs, so it was slightly easier, I would say. But in the end, the type of hit remained the same. Did have better placement of the rocket launchers, which is why I decided to BART one out so that I could maximize my shocks. And after taking down the middle ER, I'm going to flare, use a couple of shocks to pin down the defenses while my troops are moving, and then release the 2 boot of seekers. And using critters and shocks to distract and pin down the defenses as well. While the seekers are doing their work, I threw a couple of boot of critters to help kill down the ER quicker because my seekers were running low on health. And so I was able to get back into the legendary tier. In terms of next unlocks, I think it's quite interesting season now because obviously you can start saving for 7 ER and get the good offensive tech, the troop damage, the extra gunboat energy, and in terms of defense, the TBD, as well as a proto node. Having cryoneers over here just doesn't make any sense, but that's what it is. We just have to pay that tax. There is this multi-node with a shock launcher too. I also haven't unlocked the rocket launchers yet. I could maybe have a try at rocket choppers as well, but I'm not too sure yet. Plus the initial sort of multi-node with the 2 sniper towers, flamethrowers, and machine guns is also remaining. If you look at the top players, now we can see that they've started going towards 7ER. So maybe this is the sort of bases a lot of us will start facing soon. It looks interesting. I haven't faced a 7ER like this. I've faced a couple of 7ERs, but they had different layouts and I was mostly able to win against them. But I did fizzle on one as well. So I'm not too sure how good or bad they will be. And it's looking very, very interesting because a lot of the previous folks, they have dropped a few stars, probably just collecting to and waiting to unlock the next sort of tech. Not too many people still in Legendary, but there's a few that who are over there and a few who are probably just going to keep on getting into Legendary even if they fall out. Task Force is also doing really well. We have 5 players in Legendary, which is quite good, and pretty much a lot of the other folks are in Diamond as well. So hope this was useful, folks. All the best for your push. Hope these attack strategies help out. And have a fantastic weekend. Thank you.